All right, greetings everyone. Welcome to the stream. Good morning, or good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is in your part of the galaxy. Hope you're making it a great day today. Don't have any GACs to play, don't have anything specific to do. Just chilling, hanging out with y'all. If you got questions about account building, teams, mods, whatever, let me know. We'll have a discussion, have a lively debate if need be. And meanwhile, I'll be playing some stuff on the account. We got a fleet battle to play here for arena placement. We've got Conquest to do, so plenty of stuff going on in the game that I can play in the background while you guys chill out and ask any questions that you might have. Got my Hawaiian shirt on today. I have quite a few Hawaiian shirts, but always got to make sure to wear a Hawaiian shirt on a chill stream day. It doesn't look like a proper chill stream unless it looks like you're chilling. Got Andrew Thetford here. He was first. Cody Lay says hello. Alex RG says hello, everyone. Cody says he's doing good, working today, but only half a day. Jar Jar Binks is here. Zaid says hello. David Dutrow says your voice is almost back to normal. You want to know something weird? There's this weird little side effect that's happening. So, man, I coughed so much. I was like sore. And my abdominal muscles especially hurt a lot from all the coughing. So now that I'm done coughing, I've got this weird cramp that keeps coming back, like high up in my abdominal muscles. Like, I don't know what happened while I was coughing, if I pulled something or what, but man, like every time I move wrong, it cramps up. It's crazy. Usually when you get cramps, it's a hydration thing, right? So I've been drinking like 17,000 gallons of water a day trying to make sure that the cramp isn't like hydration related. Oh, you get a shock on me. That's inconvenient. Got days on everybody over here. Get the Sith fighter out of here. I guess we got to call the slave one. It's the only option we've got. All right, about to lose my capital ship to this nonsense. We'll get a heal off first, though. We can heal up this slave one here. Got him down to one ship. He'll take over my ship and reinforce before I can get this thing dead, for sure. All right, there's the takeover. Lost my capital ship, guys. It's no longer my own. All right, we got it, though. We got him. Victory. In Grand Arena, if you get taken over like that, do you lose the banners for your capital ship? I assume you must, right? You must lose banners for your capital ship. I haven't fought the matchup that way and had that be the result. But yeah, I wonder, because your ship doesn't go away. Like when the Executor or Profundity alt goes off, your capital ship actually leaves. In this case, it's taken over. So I wonder. It didn't get killed, so you probably don't lose banners for it. I would say you would still get banners for your capital ship at the end of that fight. You should anyway. If anybody knows, let me know in chat. There's no banners for capital ships? There's no banners for capital ships. Are you sure about that? I feel like there is, but maybe I'm just mistaken. Maybe I'm not thinking correctly. All right. Trying to do a squad arena placement here. I lowered my arena placement on purpose so that I could practice some stuff with my JML team. So I've done that, and now I'm trying to climb my way back up a little bit so I can practice against some better teams in Squad Arena. I don't really do Squad Arena for placement. I mostly just do Squad Arena to practice whatever it is that I want to practice. Not sure how you guys are using it. I think a lot of people are doing the same thing. They play games and practice a certain team or a certain setup in Squad Arena, and then whatever they get for placement, that's what they get. Although I did hear something interesting. We were talking about guild recruitment a while back, and one of the people who does recruiting for our guild said, if you look at Squad Arena placement, it's actually more relevant than you think, because a lot of people have learned that Squad Arena isn't important, so they just let it go. So if you find a player who's got a decent roster and they're building good stuff and it looks like they know what they're doing in the account, and also they have a decent Squad Arena placement and team, it means that those are the people that are trying in the game. Now, I don't know. Maybe I got my lingo messed up or something, because I used the word try hard before, and somebody told me that it was an insult, and I'm like, I didn't think it was an insult. So, like, to me, when I call somebody a try hard, it's not an insult. It's somebody who's like trying hard. They actually care about their placement in the game, or they actually care about winning. So, like, if you're playing a video game and you're a tryhard, that means that, like, to me, I thought it meant that you were trying hard, but apparently it's an insult. But yeah, anyway, so it's a way that you can tell, you can separate out the people that are really trying to get everything they can out of the game. So I thought that was a pretty interesting comment. All right, let's go catch up on chat. I bought the Lightspeed bundles for SLKR and Ray. What is the least number of Zetas and Omicrons that I need to spend to get 2 teams out of each faction? 1 GL team and 1 leftover team per. So, Andrew, the answer so far for the SLKR, you really have to have the Zeta on Hux. It's kind of non-optional. If you've never had crew built, you really do need to put the Zeta on crew for the pre-taunt. If I remember correctly, Kylo Ren Unmasked doesn't have the taunt at the start of the combat unless he has that skill Zetaed. Let me take a look here. First Order. Yeah, so I have 1 Zeta on him. It's this. Kylo gains taunt for 1 turn at the start of the encounter. So that's pretty much a must-have. You can't skip that one, and you can't skip Hux. So you end up with those 2 Zetas on First Order. And on Resistance, I believe that I've found a way through the event without putting a Zeta on Jedi Training Ray. So you can, in theory, play Resistance with no Zetas. Now, with Resistance, every Zeta that you add can be a pretty big deal. Jedi Training Ray, her leadership Zeta, is a pretty big deal. When the Resistance ally uses a special ability, all exposed enemies lose turn meter. When a Resistance ally uses a special ability, if they aren't debuffed, reduce their cooldowns by 1. That's a pretty big deal. And then the debuff one is pretty good. It can help in certain matchups. And then this one, at the end of her turn, if she already had critical damage up, she gains offense up, and all of this stuff. Rey gains foresight when she evades, until she evades, and then she recovers health and protection. So that is a pretty good Zeta as well. So the leadership and this insight eventually you're going to want those two for sure on Ray. The third one is a little more optional. The best off team: Hero Finn, Hero Poe, regular Finn lead. I like Finn, Poe, Zori Bliss, and Rose Tico. That's kind of the off team for the Ray journey. And then for Ray herself, you can put like Ray, R2, BB-8, and then a couple of these other guys like Amlin Holdo for tanking. And Scavenger Ray is good at damage, but she's so weak. Like I don't even like her in the team because she's just so fragile. But if you put in like R2, Jedi Training Ray, BB-8, and Holdo, something like that with your Galactic Legend Ray. But really, I mean, honestly, I would put together 3 teams out of this. I've talked about that before. That out of the Ray journey, really what you want to do is do the Finn Poe with Rose and Zori. Then you want to do a Jedi Training Ray team with her, R2, BB-8. And then I used the Resistance Trooper and Scavenger Ray. This was good for me on offense, killed bounty hunters, killed a lot of stuff. And then with Ray herself, you can put her with a different team. And you could do things like Ray, Han, Chewie in 3s. You can do, if you've done the Executor journey, you'll have Beskar, Mando, Queel, IG all built up already. So you can make a team like that. And then, if you want Barriss or somebody else as the 5th. So I would really recommend doing that. But, the Zeta on R2 is needed. And for the rest of it, I mean, you can get away without a lot of these Zetas. I think to make Zori effective, you do have to put on a Zeta and an Omicron, right? Yeah, so you have to Zeta this ability so that you can Omicron it for Grand Arenas if you want to do that. So there you go. A lot of optional Zetas. And then if you have Ben Solo, yeah, I think eventually you're obligated to put all 3 of the Zetas on him. The one here, the Family Legacy is a pretty big deal. And then the Force Dyad, of course. This is the one that you pretty much have to have. Can't be defeated while Rey is above 50% health. Long answer. So there's a lot of optional Zetas, but depends on the quality of your team, how good you want your teams to be. All right. Cramps could also be caused by a lack of quinine or magnesium. Zavor says, yeah, try hard is typically a negative connotation. What's considered a decent squad arena placement? I mean, just that you're trying, right? So let's say I've got two players, they're both 8 million galactic power, and one of them is in squad arena with this JMK team like this. Well, I mean, if you're in the top 100, my rank is 51, right? That says that I'm trying, right? If I'm, ranked 264, then people know that you're not even trying. So, yeah, no, it's more like, are you even active in the game mode? So, to be clear, it's not something where when you apply for a guild, you can expect the guild leader's going to look at your squad arena placement as one of the key factors. They were just saying that, among, let's say you got 3 people applying for 1 slot in a good guild, that's one of the things that could differentiate somebody who's trying from somebody who's just a little more passive. That's the comment. Try hard is typically I'm jealous of how good you're doing. Oh, really? That's what try hard means. I'm jealous of how good you're doing. Interesting. Squad arena income is underrated. It's nothing to shout about, but it all adds up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, more squad currency is more purchases out of the squad shop, right? Rey needs at least 3 Zetas, preferably 5. Oh, Rey herself is a galactic legend. Rey pretty much needs all 6. All 6 are worth getting on Rey. JTR needs at least 1, preferably 2, and then the Zori team needs 2 or preferably 3. The problem with JTR lead Zeta is that as soon as you have Rey, you don't use JTR anymore. Again, I think it's a missed opportunity. I'm just going to say it this way, guys. If you get Rey and you just throw the characters that you get for Resistance in with Rey, you're missing out on an opportunity. You really are. There's no reason to make 2 teams and just throw up your hands and say, "But JTR goes in the Rey team." She doesn't go in the Rey team. JTR is her own team. She should have her own team. There's no reason why you shouldn't take this team on offense. It will beat a lot of stuff in the game. It'll beat a lot of stuff. It's a good offensive team. You have to control the matchup. You don't want to play her against Hux or Padme or characters like that where you can't manipulate their turn meter, right? If you put her on defense, if you put this JTR team on defense, then people can bring in Imperial Troopers, a Padme team. If they have Hux on offense, they can bring in any kind of First Order team with Hux on it. So there's a lot of things that'll just shut the JTR team down hard. But if you take her in against bounty hunters or there's Mon Mothma squads, there's just a lot of teams where you can reasonably go first. Or maybe a Mon Mothma team, Kyle Katarn gets to take a turn before you go. But anyway, once you go, you just start doing control things. You do a lot of damage. You do a lot of control. You get stuns, take away turn meter, and you just control their team. And they don't get any turns. And JTR team wins. The Fin Poe team is good on defense. And then you can do something else with Rey. And again, I don't think... especially if you don't have Ben Solo, then you're not looking to make a defensive Rey team. You're looking to put Rey on offense. Kill stuff with Rey, right? If you have Ben Solo, then you can look at putting Rey on defense. I think Rey on defense without Ben Solo is just free food for your opponent. It's so easy to beat with Sith Eternal Emperor, the Starkiller teams. Rey is just easy pickings if there's no Ben Solo. Once you have Ben Solo, then you need to put together a team on defense that's got some tricks to it, like this team with Cal Kestis and Vandor Chewbacca, L3, and Ben Solo. You have to kill Vandor Chewbacca first. L3 is going to get in your way. Ben Solo is super annoying. Cal Kestis can be hard to kill. So you just put these characters in there that waste time and make it hard for you to pick apart the team comp, and you make your opponent deal with it. And if they don't deal with it well, then maybe you get a hold. Maybe you get more than one hold. If they have the right kinds of teams to come in there and beat it, then fine. But they're using, a pretty specific or pretty good team to beat Rey. On the other hand, if you put Rey on defense with like Ben Solo and then JTR and BB-8 and R2 or something like that, it's too easily beaten, right? The resistance stuff does not add an element of complexity to the Rey matchup, right? It just doesn't. So there's no reason not to separate these teams out. Anyway, I could go on for another 10 minutes about that, but if you don't do it that way, it's a missed opportunity. It's a loss of efficiency in my book, because there's other light side characters that can go with Rey, take her on offense, control the matchup, beat some good stuff with her. Learn to use Rey. Don't just throw her on defense and throw her away. Okay, we've got conquest battles to fight. I always like to get through Zone 4 on the first week. So we've made good progress on Zone 4. I did invest this time in the big bundle again. I'm still doing some experimentation between doing the $30 bundle and the $10 bundle, just to see how much that really adds to the ability to get through Conquest easily. For me, it's less about money or anything other than time. I don't want to spend a ridiculous amount of time in Conquest, and the bigger the big pass just helps you get through this stuff where you don't have to spend as much time. You get a good data disk out of it. You get better recovery on your good teams. You can just, like, if you've got 6 or 7 good teams, you can just throw them all in twice, refresh once, and then sleep overnight and come back the next morning and everything's ready to go again. So it helps a lot with the efficiency of getting through your clear. Makes it super easy to get box 5. So for me, it's just a matter of saving time. I could easily do box 5 with the teams that I have, but I would rather do box 5 in a way that saves me time and effort, and I don't have to micromanage and think about it quite as much. It also allows me, with the extra energy recovery, it allows me to farm a lot more datacrons. So what I'm thinking I might do long term, when a new datacron set comes out, I might invest in that better pass, just to make sure that on the first conquest I can get more refreshes and more datacron stuff into the account on the first conquest. And then the second conquest I can back off on that because, I will have a decent amount of datacrons already built up. So I don't know. I'm just playing around with the idea, trying to see how it works and what I like. All right, let's see. Why would it matter if you're trying in Squad Arena or not? I'm a guild officer in a smaller guild, and we could care less about Squad Arena. Much more concerned with GAC ratings, and we can determine about TB, TW, Conquest, Fleet Arena placement. Yeah. I mean, Lord of Stone, all that stuff is true. All that stuff is true. But again, the idea is that if you've got one slot in your guild and you've got 3 good candidates, it's one of those differentiating factors that tells you it's more of a, it's a decider between equally qualified accounts. That's the idea. I'm not saying that you go in and you use that as one of your main criteria for how you select people for your guild. That's not the intent of what I was saying. I run Rey with JTR, Ben, Barris, and Sortie. JTR's synergy with Rey is very strong, building up mastery, which leads to timeout. At my level, JTR doesn't do much on her own. I relegate my Ben solo during this last week. I'm going to run Rey, Ben, and Hermit Yoda for 3v3 defense. Ray says, I disagree with JTR depending on which division you're in. Outside of Kyber, under 7 million, then sure JTR can lead. Above Kyber 2, over 9 million, JTR lead has little use. So what you're saying is basically when you have enough offensive teams that all of your offensive teams are better than JTR, then she's not relevant. I don't know, though. So the thing about JTR is that when you get a win with Jedi Training Rey, it can be a very high banner win. She's very good at getting full banners in a win. So if you play her against something that she can beat, it feels pretty good. If you can't afford the Zetas for her, though, I mean, with no Zetas, she's pretty awful, right? So, yeah, gotta make some choices there. If you build it so that you can have 3 teams, you can always have less teams, right? There's always the possibility that you just have less. I don't know though. I mean, if you bought Lightspeed, how many people who bought Lightspeed are Kyber 2? So if you bought Lightspeed and you're worried about Zeta placement and all that stuff, I mean, by definition, I don't think you're Kyber 2. Maybe that's just me making bad assumptions. All right, I'm just going to put this on auto because I don't feel like playing it. Let's keep catching up with chat. Vandor Chewy belongs with Dash and L3. Cal goes to Seer. So it's always a puzzle depending on your roster size. R2 goes with the Leia team. Is JTR team still good? I played it on my main account without a Relic R2 for a while. And R2 definitely adds something to it because without the R2, you lose some stats. You lose the stun ability on basic is really good with R2. So yeah, if R2's out and in a different team, then it does take something away from the JTR team for sure. It's less good. But yeah, I think the truth of it is if you have 11 teams for offense in 5v5 and all 11 teams that you want to take on offense are better than JTR, then it doesn't make sense to make a JTR team. I can agree to that, right? I can agree to that. So if your roster's big enough that you can put down a good defense, still have a good offense, and not use JTR, then she can go with Ray or, whatever. But for most of the mid-game players like myself that are trying to stretch your roster, so if I had the Ray team on offense, the JTR team for offense, once I get the Zeta and get that in better shape, what that means, for me at least, it means another team that I can put on defense. So if I can get a team that's good enough on offense, that means that I can take one of my other teams that I'm holding for offense and continue to build up a better defense, which right now I'm still putting down what I consider to be a pretty weak defense in Grand Arena. I tried putting a stronger defense down, but my win rate really suffered. So with the bigger defense, I went 6-3 in the season. When I went back to more offense, then I went 5-4. So at least for my roster, I'm just not at the point where I can put a heavy defense down yet and still have enough to clear. When I get Ray as a Galactic Legend, then I'll have 3 Galactic Legends without alts. But then I definitely have to get pay attention to the amount of stuff that I'm putting down on defense. Sure. And I don't know. I think my defense specifically is going to suffer because with the new Datacron set, I think Jabba is a lot less good on defense than he has been before. Jabba's been pretty strong on defense, and if the opponent has the right Datacrons, he's pretty beatable. But that requires the opponent to have those Datacrons and be able to use them against Jabba. So we'll see how the new Datacron set comes out and whether or not Jabba's still a legitimate defense or not. I bought the Lightspeed at Kyber 2. I didn't have Ray or SLKR, but had all the rest plus the GL fleets. Ray says, the thing is there's more and more meta or sub-meta teams coming out. A few years ago, JTR was decent, but she's been pushed down a lot. Malgus, Online Force Users, Starkiller, Afra, etc. I don't think they improved GAC matchmaking. I landed in Kyber 4 with 2 GLs. I was in Kyber 4 for a long time with 2 GLs. I mean, SLKR, not SLKR, Sith Eternal and Kenobi were the only GLs in my account for like a year when we were in Kyber. The GAC matchmaking has been the same for quite a while now. It's based solely on win-loss ratios, nothing to do with roster. But you have to be able to win, right? So if you've got 2 GLs and you're still winning, and you've got better tactics or strategy than your opponent, then you keep moving up. And that's the way it is, and that's the way it should be. Interceptor says, hey DL, where are you getting these beautiful character icons to start your stream? The thumbnail stuff is all digital art. So I've subscribed to a digital art platform and started playing around with making digital art. I checked into it from a legal standpoint. There's probably going to be a lot of legal precedent in the next few years on digital art. But for right now, basically if I do art in the style of Star Wars, but I don't call it Star Wars art, and I don't specifically make money off the art itself, then I'm not violating any copyrights by making fan art in the style of Star Wars. So it's just digital art. It's all stuff that I've created. Put in a bunch of keywords and prompts and try to convince the AI to do what you want. It's a lot harder than it should be, and the AI very often doesn't want to give you the kind of art that you're trying to generate. But it's fun. It's a fun little thing for me to do, and I've enjoyed it. For each picture that I put up, I probably go through anywhere from 50 to 100 pictures that don't look anything like what I wanted. So, yeah, sometimes when I'm playing late at night, just going through my stuff, I'll click the button, generate some art. It takes a while. But if I'm doing something else, then it's not too bad. And you can queue up like the program that I got. You can queue up like 32 generations, and then you just come back 10 minutes later, and you can sort through your generations and see if anything good enough popped up. AI art hates hands, so you get like a bunch of 6-fingered people, and yeah, you gotta sort through and try to make something good out of it. All right, we've spent some energy off these characters. I want to save some energy for later, for after reset. Now what I'm going to do is just go to Sector 4, and we're going to farm the end node and multi-sim all of the 50s. So anything that we can refresh cost for 50, we'll multi-sim those, be done for the day. And then at reset, I'll have my character energy back, and I can come back in here, do some more Conquest, get some more Datacron stuff. All right. Darth Glizzy says, Ray was the first GL. We've had her for a while. What division were you in again, Loquitur? On Darth Loquitur, what division am I in? Oh, I'm in Kyber 3, I think. Yeah, Kyber 3 in Grand Arena with Loquitur. I feel like I can make it to Kyber 2. I know I could make it to Kyber 2 if I could just, find a little more time to do scouting and set my defenses up better and all that stuff. But I just don't find time for it. So I end up kind of playing with a standard defense and carrying a lot of stuff on offense. But yeah, I mean, I've got Jedi Master Luke with no alt already built. We've got SLKR with no alt built. We've got Rey with no alt almost ready to unlock. And on one hand, it's a lot to do all at once, and all of them aren't finished. On the other hand, I farm light side heavily every day. I farm dark side a little bit. And I'm getting tokens for both. So over time, we'll get all this stuff done with really high efficiency. And then by that time, I should be done with Leia as well. Right? Because we're closing in on the Leia requirements. We've got 1, 2, 3. We'll relic Wicket this week. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have 6 relics to build and 2 more characters that have to be up relicked. So we're closing in fast on Leia, probably 7 weeks, maybe for Leia. So within 2 months, we should have Leia as well. And I mean, that should be enough time for me to finish out the alts on both of my light side characters. So we'll get Rey, we'll get her alt, we'll get JML's alt, we'll get SLKR's alt, and then we'll be right on to Leia. And then after that, we need to do Inquisitors. I mean, I've put the Inquisitors off pretty much as long as I can now at this point. So we'll go from Leia into the Inquisitors. As I finish up Leia, I'll start trying to reserve Kairos and put Kairos over onto Leia, or onto the Inquisitors for that journey. We'll build that up. And who chose your beautiful shirt? It's also AI generated art, says Boris Balkan. It's funny. The problem with a strong defense is lower GP is that you're typically against rosters that are much stronger. So no defense matters. One team matters. So one team matters. And this is why I keep telling, a lot of people are saying, well, I could do this, I could do that, I could go for Leia, I could, whatever, right? When Leia came out, I said, judging by Leia's kit, she's going to be a monster on defense. So if Leia was your only GL and she was the only good team that you put on defense, there would be a lot of people all the way up to Kyber 2 or Kyber 3 that would not be able to beat a fully built Leia team on defense. They can't beat it with any number of teams. So having one team that's the very best team that you can possibly put on defense right here in this bottom front corner, that makes a difference at every level. And then you keep everything else for offense. And then the same thing for ships. Imagine that somehow, this really isn't very possible, but imagine that you had Leia as your only GL, and you had Leviathan as your big fleet. Put Leviathan on defense and fleets. Again, a lot of opponents either won't be able to beat it or don't know how to beat it. So if you've got one defense that's good enough to beat your opponent's roster, you take it on offense, you'll beat one team. You put it on defense, you can beat their whole roster. But then you have to have enough stuff on offense to clear, a zone or two so that you get the win on offense. But yeah, I think there's one defense that's important. Even at the mid-game stage, it's still all offense and a very light defense. Yeah, at least that's what I want to put down a good defense. I really do. But as somebody else pointed out, you're always playing against people with more galactic power than you. So if you put a bunch of stuff on defense, the likelihood that they're still going to clear your defense anyway So let's say they've got a 10 million roster, and they keep half of it for offense and half of their best stuff, right? They have half of it on offense and half of it on defense. Well, if you've only got a 7 million roster and you're fighting up against that 10 million roster, if you do the same thing and you put down a good defense, you're fighting, 4 million of your best stuff against 5 million of their best stuff. And then on offense, you just fail, right? So instead, what you have to do is you have to assume that they're going to put down a defense of a certain quality, and then you keep enough offensive stuff that you can full clear. And then you just put enough stuff on defense. And if they're going to clear you, they're going to clear you anyway. And then you just try to be more efficient on banners. And that strategy works. That's how a lot of people are in, Kyber 2 and Kyber 3 with lower GP rosters by taking it all on offense. But having that one best team, and that's why in the game now, anytime they come out with a new GL, chase it. Chase it down, get it, and just plan for that to be your cornerstone defense for the next, 6-8 months. Drogon was generated by AI art. If you notice, the AI-generated humans often hide their hands behind their backs. In K3, do you let people that don't play, do you face people that don't play? At Kyber 3, everybody plays. So I have what I call a demoralization victory. So if you go and you play early, one of the disadvantages to playing early, you don't know how many banners you have to get, and your opponent then has the advantage playing later, that they know exactly how many banners they need to win and all that. But if you go in against a good opponent and you've got a decent defense down and they open up the board and you've cleared them and scored like 1840 points, there's a lot of players that just look at that and go, they play one battle and they take the loss. Because if they play it out, they might not win anyway, and that's an hour of their life they're never going to get back, whatever. So there is there is something to be said for just getting in there and rolling your opponent, getting decent banners. But at Kyber 3, you don't find people that just don't play. There's not going to be many times where you load up a Grand Arena and your opponent never even plays. Down at Carbonite, Bronzium, Chromium, there's tons of accounts that don't play. But higher up, everybody's playing. I look at heavy offensive strategy as a bet on yourself. I generally think I'm better at selecting counters, modding correctly, and pressing the right buttons than my opponent, says Relapse. That's a good way of looking at it. Yeah. I found a good defense is one that's going to steal banners. Yeah. So even stuff like Grievous is still relevant. You can put Grievous on defense, and as long as he gets off a turn, they're going to kill some droid somewhere and set Grievous off. He gets a turn. He steals banners from everybody. Newt Gunray is good at that. Night Sisters are really good at stealing banners. So yeah, there's quite a few teams that you're going to lose. You're going to lose the match, right? The opponent's going to win. But if you can make them get a 58 banner win instead of a 65 banner win, then that can be a big deal. It can be the difference. Faye says, hello there, DL. I followed your videos since 2022. I found them after I started the wrong path but wanted to finish it. SLKR first was wrong. Could you please take a look at how I'm doing? Sure, man. Put in your ally code, but when you type it into chat, type it in the form of number with an X, number, and then do it that way. If you just put the numbers in, it thinks you're trying to type in a phone number, and it bans your chat a lot of times. So give me your ally code, and we'll take a look. I could solve this whole debate in one word: scouting. If you have all the info, then set your defense accordingly. Yeah, that's it, Kyber. I mean, I could definitely do a lot better if I did scouting, but I don't find I have the time for it. And I know you guys are sick of hearing me say that, or it sounds like an excuse, but I'm willing to spend a certain amount of time on the game, and that's it. You know, I've got a job, I've got a family, I've got stuff that I'm going to do otherwise. And, you know, when the time's up in the game, the time's up. And if territory battles and Conquest and all that stuff is running, it all requires a certain amount of time and attention. Then the thought of going in and scouting Grand Arena and resetting my defense and all that stuff to beat my opponent seems like a bridge too far. So that's when I'm just like, it's whatever. It's fine. I kind of don't care about GAC. So that's it. I mean, I could spend that much more time in Grand Arena, and the net result would be going from Kyber 3 to Kyber 2, right? Just checking on my stars here. How we doing? 21 stars with 1 day left to go. Nice. So we'll probably get 24, 25 stars this time around. That's cool. Yeah, so I mean, I could do little, maintain Kyber 3, and I'm fine. Or I could work a lot harder at it and get to Kyber 2 and increase my rewards by 20 crystals a day. So it's kind of like, I don't know, in the grand scheme of the amount of time to reward ratio, I just don't do it. Now, the Omega Scouting tool is insane. It's absolute insanity. If people haven't used that scouting tool, man, you can go back and look through your opponent's history. You can see, you know, statistically what they've placed on defense in the last rounds, you know, going back several months. You can literally look at the roadmap for exactly what they're going to do with a really high probability of that being what they do again in the matchup versus you. That scouting tool is so good it almost feels like cheating. It's not, but it's really crazy how much info you can pull up through that tool. All right. I don't see FaZe's number yet. I don't know if I missed it or if it just didn't show up or whatever, but yeah, I need your ally code before I can look at anything, buddy. Kyber Soze says, I'll go through it with you again, seriously. Have the scout down to 15 minutes or less. Kyber says you can go through Kyber 2 to get to Kyber 1. Relapse says, DL, you reviewed my account way back in February of 21. Back when you used to do standalone videos. Funny to rewatch and review the suggestions in the state of the game. Yeah, interesting. RG says, hello there. What do you think? How much GLs and GP should an Erodium player have? So just as a rule of thumb, 1 big fleet and 2 galactic legends should get you to and through Erodium. So you can do that with, 5 million GP if you've got, good mods and patience. If you've spent money on the game and blown up your GP and you don't have very good mods, then, maybe 6 or 7 million GP to get the same quality of teams. But there's no hard and fast rule. But if you're over 6 million GP, you can be in Kyber. Just as a rule of thumb, I would say that should be true. All right, FaZe gave me the ally code. So let's take a look at FaZe's stuff because he or she, they had asked earlier. So 531139619. Search. Did I ever tell you guys the story of why I know how to type? It's kind of a funny story. So I grew up in the Midwest in a town. I still remember the sign. As you drove into town, the sign said population 306. It was basically a farming community, and the town was just the houses that had grown up around the grain elevator, right? So very small town, very small school. We had 16 kids in my class, my entire class. Our high school had 76 students in all 4 grades of the high school. So it just gives you an idea of how small it was. You only had one elective when you were in high school. You didn't take classes, you just took high school, because there were so few teachers that whatever classes the teacher had offered, that's what you got, right? So we had one option. And sophomore year of high school, the option was either take shop class or take typing. And I mean, that's just generic, right? All the girls take typing, all the boys take shop class and learn how to build stuff, and that's the way it goes. But as a sophomore in high school, I had this clever thought, which is, if all the girls are in typing, why wouldn't you take typing? Why do I want to be in shop class with all the other dudes when I could be in typing class with all the girls? So I took typing class. I took typing strictly and purely motivated on the idea that I'd be the only guy in typing class. And unfortunately, it wasn't true, because once I told the idea to my friend Darren, he immediately saw the wisdom in it, and he's like, the heck with that, I'm not signing up for shop either. So there were 2 of us that learned typing instead. And that was back before computers had really hit. So, I mean, typing back then was still typing on a typewriter. Computers were started up. You had the Commodore 64. You had the early Apple computers. While I was still in high school, it rolled over to the Apple IIe. I remember wanting an Apple IIe computer so badly, because it was supposed to be, so much better than everything that came before. But yeah, so typing really wasn't a thing in my little farming town. But I'm glad I took the class. At the end of the day, I got a much better skill out of it. I don't think learning how to use a wood lathe would have served me nearly as well as learning how to type has. So there you go. Sometimes, even with the basest motivations, things work out. CT55 says, I've heard these types of stories before, and it ends up with all the guys in the class. That's funny. All right, so let's take a look at Phase 89. 5.8 million galactic power, 2728 in ships, basically, 3 in characters. Man, I like that. Lots of ships, tons of ships. Galactic War Battles won 6.7, so that's year and a half. Been a year and a half on this account, more or less. I see an Executor. That makes me happy. 7-star Executor, 7-star Finalizer. Negotiator's done. Malevolence is done. Nice. Radis is at 4 stars, building up. So we got light speed bundles, it looks like. The Geos are an opportunity. With the raid shop now and the ease of which you can get gear for these Geos, man, I would put all these Geos at gear 11, gear 12. Make your Malevolence fleet better. The Geos they're still a good team. Get them to gear 11 and put an Omicron on Poggle, and even at low gear, that team's a menace for territory wars. So the Geos are still worth building. You don't have to relic these characters. You don't have to go crazy. You don't even have to take them to gear 12. But whatever your project is, you should be able to gear up these Geos in the background. And they are worth doing. They really are worth doing. Okay, so we've got the SLKR, we've got the Executor. Nice. Let's take a look and see if we got light speed bundles in here as well. Resistance. Okay, so it looks like we did light speed bundles and we're getting Ray. All right. Also Darth Revan. Now this is the temptation. I'm going to steal the term because somebody called it squirrel chasing. I'm having a squirrel chasing problem, and it seems so appropriate, right? So when I see that you've got like little bits and pieces of gear all over the place on these guys, it looks to me like you're doing a little bit of squirrel chasing. Like you would like to relic Savage, but you can't quite make the commitment to him. You would like to relic, some of these other characters, but you can't quite make the commitment to them. I typically don't lock down any Gear 13 gear, any of this stuff, until I'm ready to relic the character. Because a lot of the stuff here, sorry, you can't see that. Let's change screens for just a second. Actually, let's go all the way down to this one. And we can take a look. So when you're looking at a character that is Gear 12, and you get a piece of gear that you could put on that character. So let's just pick like this battle droid here. And let's say we could put this piece of gear, craft it up, and put it on him. And that's just literally because we can, right? We've got the materials and we can. The thing is, what we could also do instead is we could come over to the scavenger and we could take that same piece and we can scavenge it for 13 Electrum conductors. So if I'm not building a character, I would rather keep these materials in case I need them over here for Electrum. When I'm ready to relic that character, I can put these pieces on. But until then, I can hold on to them and save them for relics if I need to. Just a thought. Just a thought from seeing what I'm seeing on your account. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff where you have opportunities to work on it. Okay, so let's get over here and see what the questions. Learning how to type on your own is easy, though. The same cannot be said for shop skills. I still took woodshop my freshman year, and like a lot of things, I got overly ambitious with my shop goals, and we had to do one big project for the class, and I decided that I was going to build a chessboard. And folks, I did. I built a chessboard, and I lathed out all 32 pieces. All the pawns, I made the knights, rooks, queen, king, everything. I made an entire chess set. Yep, that was way too much work. I got about halfway through and I was about a third of the way done, and then I realized that I was going to have to put in a bunch of extra time after school just to get my project finished. But yeah, I also built the board itself. I even built the chess board. Yeah, typing was better. That was more fun. All right, so let's look at mods real quick here and then see what kind of generic advice we can give for account building. Piet 313. So you said that you had sort of started out and you were working on mods now and trying to improve them, so I'm taking that into account. 311 on Luke. It's pretty good. Got a speed set on him. I think for Luke really wants, an offense set or maybe a crit damage set or something like that. The CLS team is really about just smashing things with big hits. The Wookiees like to have tenacity for certain matchups, but I think Han and Luke especially Just kind of go smashy with them. 310 on Mara Jade. It's okay. And Mara Jade is Relic 5, huh? Dash is Relic 5. Where are we at on Talon? Talon's Relic 5. So you got Starkiller already? Yeah, okay, we got Starkiller already. Nice. All right, so you're going to get Ray. My advice is work on this package of things that you've already started, right? Finish out your Ray, get her up and running, and the teams that you want with Resistance. Finish out Starkiller, finish out Darth Revan. So do those things before you move on. That'll give you 2 GLs. It'll give you some good backbone teams. You could even throw in the Sith Triumvirate in there. And then whatever the next GL is to come out after Leia, do that. So stabilize the account with what you're already working on, Starkiller, Darth Revan, and Rey. And then look to the next GL. And if they don't come out with a GL in a timely fashion, I would probably do something like JMK. If you can swing the Wat Tambor 7 stars. So maybe look to something like a JMK instead of chasing Leia. That's up to you. Or maybe there's more light speed bundles by then you could buy into Sith Eternal or Jedi Master Luke if you want to do that. But that's my generic advice. For mods, I would say just in general, I see you farming a lot of speed mods, which is good, but you might want to think about farming some offense. So get some more offense sets up and running for some of your more offensive characters, and give yourself good offense mod options for Rey. I like Rey modded for offense. You can mod her for a lot of health. You can mod her for a lot of speed. But I like Rey to just hit really hard. I like Rey to be modded for good speed, but pretty much the most offense that she can muster so that she gets big hits on her ult. That's what makes her dangerous, especially if you put her on defense for any reason. Those are my thoughts. If you have specific questions, let me know. I'm going to catch up on chat for a second. So if you've got any other specific questions about your account, let me know. All right. Got a super chat from Dank Ideals. Just finished up Rey, would like some insight on what I could farm next in the non-GL. I'm looking at gas to fix my negotiator, and I unlock Scythe in a week. I'm looking at gas to fix my negotiator. How does gas fix your negotiator? I'm looking at gas to fix my negotiator. Looking at gas to fix my negotiator. I guess I don't understand that comment. I must be missing something. Well, thanks a lot for the super chat. We'll take a look at your account here in just a second. Checkers or drafts board would have been a good choice, saving you more time to check out typing class. I made a Risk game board in shop class along with the dice and other pieces. That's cool. Hey DL, I came from a small town too, 109 students in all 5 school year classes. French Canadian here. My electives were arts and music. Neither of those that I liked. That's funny. Go for the new ship, maybe, says Coder Paul. Lord of Stone says Relic, Jedi Knight Anakin ship, 5s, Rex, and both of their ships. Okay, I got you. So you're going to do gas, but then building up the clones to Relic behind gas. So the 5s and the Rex for their ships. I got you. I understand now. Hey DL, I have Executor and will have 4 GLs by mid-2024. After that, is going for the remaining mega fleets and whatever comes after a good idea? I ask because they'll take 2 years to 7 stars. Some Video Watcher 25, that's a funny name, I like that. So what I've recommended to people is have 1 ship at each tier. So if you have an Executor, you don't necessarily need a Profundity. If you didn't build the Leviathan, then you have to go for whatever ship comes next. But have a ship at each tier. You don't have to go back and chase the rest, but that's a choice, right? So basically, chase new content, and with the time that you have in between, like new GLs and new big fleets, then you go back and you do the old content like Profundity or whatever you need there. All right, let's do the account review for that super chat for the Dank Man, the Dankmeister, Dankerific. All right, let's see. We got here Danky McDankerton. 6 million galactic power, 2-4 in ships, 3-5 in characters. Galactic War Battles 1-6. So this is also a 1.5 year old account. 6-star a pro fun ditty. Nice. All right, so we got Profundity in the house. Negotiators at 5 stars. Oh man, you got to spend more of your get to. I know you want to use that guild event token too for gearing up characters, but you really got to finish out your negotiator and get the malevolence up and running. They're too good of ships to skip. Too good to skip. You've really not done a lot with your fleets, my friend. So we've got the Profundity, and that's in good shape. It looks like you bought the Lightspeed pack, and that's in good shape. But there's a lot of opportunities to build up the Geos, get that malevolence, get more fleets in the account. Okay. But it's okay. Not the biggest opportunities. Jedi Master Luke, Ray is in the house. Ray with no alt yet, so nice. We already cashed in on that Lightspeed bundle. That's good. Did you also buy the First Order one or not? Let's take a look here. Yeah, okay, so we're working on Finalizer, I assume, and whenever we get the shuttle built, right, because we're probably waiting on the shuttle. Yep. Exactly. Kylo Ren's command shuttle needs to be finished, and then we'll get that into SLKR. Okay. Got Grand Inquisitor here at Relic 8. Got Maul at Relic 8. So we've got the Inquisitors. Bodhi Rook, Relic 7. Star Killer's in the house. Savage is Relic 5 with an Omicron. Wampa's Relic 3. We could do higher relic levels on Wampa. I think that'd be satisfying. Seer Junda is getting worked on for relics. That's a pretty good commitment to Seer. Nice. All right. So back to the question. I've just finished Ray. Would like insight on what to farm. Looking at gas to fix my negotiator. Yeah, so I would say your biggest opportunity is to shore up your fleet stuff. So I agree, not a GL, but do have a look at your fleets. Like we said just a minute ago, work on these geos in the background. You don't have to build them up to relic levels, but do invest in these geos and their ships. Get them up to gear 11 at least, so that you can have the ship's passive maxed out. Work on getting the malevolence and the Negotiator finished to 7 stars with the Get 2. And like you said, opportunity with Anakin. If you're building a Padme team going into gas, opportunity with Anakin. So I agree. I think that's probably your best opportunity. The Galactic Republic requirements going into gas. But I would say finish it out. So I would say go all the way. You know, take a Padme team all the way to Relic. Do you have Commander Ahsoka Tano yet? No, not yet. Okay. If you build a really good Padme team, that's a home for Ahsoka Tano. So as soon as you can get her and build her, she'll immediately have a really good place to be until you get... she can also go with Rey, I guess, though, too. Put Rey with Cat, or Cat with Rey. But, no, I like that idea. I like the idea of building out your fleet stuff. You know, you don't necessarily have to go for another big fleet, but just build up what you've got. And if you're getting the Scythe, then Iden Versio is looking really good too. Remnant. So you could look at Iden Versio and some remnants, right? You could look at building up Death Trooper, the Scout Trooper, potentially Stormtrooper. So build an Iden team, but focusing on the remnant side of things because they're all good and relevant for the current raid. So you could do that. But Iden and the Defender is going to be good if you get the Scythe. You can put together that good Chimera fleet. You know, good stuff. All right. Revan has the best of my mods right now. Darth Pat says, how are things going? Beastman Lives says, Relic 7, your Wampa. Dank. I agree. You know, Wampa could definitely use some more sauce. Put some more sauce in your Wampa. This is nice, right? This is what I was just talking about. Interesting. I mean, we've got health main stats. So this is a blend. It's kind of a blend of Rey with health and offense. Over 10,000 on the offense, though. So that's good. That's what we like to see. Commitment all the way up to Relic 8. That's nice. We like that. Saw Gerrera at Relic 7. We had a Jedi Knight Cal Kestis in here. So that's some interesting stuff. Bodhi Rook, fastest non-GL character at 329. I remember this account because of the Bodhi Rook. Wasn't that like a contest that some other streamer ran or something like that to relic a Bodhi Rook, and so you did? I know there's a story behind it, but Grand Inquisitor 323. Resistance Hero Finn made a good commitment to his speed, 311. Let's take a look. This mod could be 6-dotted. This mod could definitely be 18 speed on 4 rolls is not fantastic, but you could definitely keep slicing that up. 23 speed, that one's finished. 9 speed, that one's not going anywhere. This could also be 6-dotted. 15 speed on 4 rolls is pretty awful. Never mind. Ugh, that's rough. But if you 6-dotted it and you just hit it once, sliced it once to see if you could get more speed, it would go to 16. You'd probably end up with like a 20 speed mod. Yeah, you know what? It's not bad. You might be able to go to 6 dots on that. So you have some potential to work with the mods that you've already got, at least. 10 speed, that one didn't work out. This one didn't, got stuck at blue. 19 speed. 10 speed. All right. So yeah, Dank, that's what I would say. Just really work on fleet stuff. You know? You got the GL, get that in the house. You've got gas to do, and a whole bunch of fleet stuff. And you could spend time doing that. But whatever comes out next, whatever new ship or galactic legend comes out next, I'd be ready to pounce on that. You know, go for the next big thing that they announce. All right, we had somebody else put in a number for an account review a while back. See if I can find it. I lost track of it in the chat. Okay, CT55 asked for a look at the roster. 871-833-824. Ben Swgoh on DBOL. He's a Sith Smiter, and the account is Fetty. Not Freddy, but Fetty. Not Fitty, but Fetty. Fetty Ben Solo. All right, 5.4 million galactic power. Pretty evenly split between characters and ships. Galactic War Battles won 7,000, so that's a year and a half going on 2 years. 8,800 to be 2 years, right? So a little over a year and a half. Got a Ray in the account. We got a Profundity ship that I can see here. 5-star Profundity. Finalizer's in good shape. Radis is up and running. Malevolence, 5 stars. No negotiator, though, huh? Same comment. I mean, I understand that get to is good for gearing characters, but do get on. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, why? Why not? This ship is so good. I know it's annoying to farm it, but just click on that node every day and farm that ship till it's done. It's too good not to have. And when you want it, and you're at 3 stars, and you're looking at like 5 months of farming, you're going to be sad. So farm it whether you need it or not. Once you have it, you'll like it. You'll be glad you did. All right, characters. Let's take a look here. Ray, SLKR. Looks like we got both the light speed bundles going on here. All right, then we got stuff. Revens. Triumvirate. We got Treya, Savage, Wampa's Relict. So it's a player who likes their GACs. There's Darth Nihilus at Relic 5. Nice. Omicron here. Geos are at Gear 12. Young Han. Must be a Glurmit fan, right? Young Han. Isn't it Glurmit that thinks that Young Han is like the best smuggler in the game? I think so. Bad Batch got farmed up a little bit. That's interesting. Alrighty. Take a look at speed here real quick. Admiral Radis, fastest non-GL character at 334. It's okay. I mean, it's good speed for Radis, but it's not good if that's your fastest character in the account, right? 294. So there's some opportunity here to work on some better, faster mods. All right, so in general, what I would say with this roster, you got a little bit of catch up to do on fleets. You know, don't skimp on Anakin's ship. Farm that out. Don't skip the Negotiator. Get the Negotiator capital ship. Get the Malevolence finished. Don't do something else with your get to, right? Don't use your get to on gear. You got to commit to getting those ships done at some point. I mean, it's not bad. It's not like fleets are in bad shape. You got a lot of good stuff. You got a lot of stuff that's going in the right direction. But I would take the opportunity to finish some of that stuff out. And then on the character side of things, with those 2 GLs that you got in the account now, a lot of GAC stuff, right? We've got the Triumvirate, we've got Wampa, we've got Savage, all kinds of GAC stuff. I would say to add to that, either if you're doing Inquisitors for your guild, then, do that. Oh, Eighth Brother has some commitment already. Okay, so if there's any reason why you're doing the Inquisitors for your guild, then fine, do that. If that's not a thing that's on your radar, I really would recommend building this Iden team. Build Iden, focus on the Remnant Troopers, Stormtrooper, Death Trooper. Get those guys up and running. Maybe if the new Moff Gideon is fantastic, that's good. Even if he's not, these are very important for the new raid. So get an Iden team up and running for the new raid and for a lot of other reasons. So that's what I would say. Focus your stabilization on fleets and an Iden team. And of course the Inquisitors if your guild's asking for it. Hey, we got another super chat. Dominant says, hey DL, any chance at a roster review? Sure. Thank you for the super chat, Dominant. I have a feeling like your account's pretty big, right? If I remember right. This is a monstrosity of an account. Maybe I'm misremembering. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last. Okay. Search. Yeah, 10.4 million. That's a pretty big account, right? All right, 6 million in characters, 4.3 in ships. Galactic War Battles, 120,000. Putting it at, what, almost 7 years? 6? No. Hang on. 4,400 per year. So that's 4.5 years. 4.5 years. Okay. All right. That's pretty big account for 4.5 years, my friend. It's a lot of stuff. We do have the Leviathan in the house at 7 stars. Profundity, Executor, Malevolence, Negotiator, Finalizer. Radis is 5 stars, but everything else is pretty much done. Pilotless ships are done. Geos are in good shape. All this stuff is relict. Nothing to see here. Character-wise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 GLs. Malicos, Relic, 9. Relic 9, baby. Woo! Die, whelp. Let's take a look at this guy. What do we got in terms of mods? All right. So a little bit of tenacity here, protection. Bunch of potency, offense. Just offense where we can get it. Crit chance, potency. More offense. Crit damage and offense. Not worried about speed on this guy. We're just hitting like a freight train. Choo choo. Whack. All right. Relic 9. Crazy. Awesome. Revens, Malik, Malgus, Chrysanthemum, Jedi Knight, Cal Kestis is in the house. Third Sister at Relic 7. Aphrodisiac. Where are we at on troopers? Let's take a look here. Remnant's all done except Stormtrooper. Look at that. Death Trooper Relic 7. No messing around there. Scout Trooper's already done. So Leia's going to be in the house then, I assume, right? We were just steps away from Leia. It's got to be. Got to be close on Leia. Got Ray. Zori Bliss still down here, 6 stars. Not quite finished yet. All right, I don't know what to say, man. Not much that I can tell somebody who already has 10 million galactic power, right? All we can do is just admire what's in here. Be a little bit jealous. Tuscan Chefton, fastest character in the account, non-GL, 349. Interesting. Where's Moff Gideon? Moff Gideon, where's Moff Gideon? Oh, 324, but he's broken. He's got a missing tooth, man. Ooh, buddy. Hey, that happens to all of us. You got to go through and fix your mods. Man, I don't know when they put this sort by empty mod slots thing in the game, but I feel like it was there for a long time before I figured out that it was there. Jedi Training Ray, no mods. So there's some opportunity for you to fix your mods. What do you tell the man with everything? You point out the empty mod slot sort and tell him to go fix his mods. Wow. You got a lot of missing teeth. I'm guessing you did a remod for an event or something. That's what happens to me. I remod for an event and then I end up with a bunch of mods messed around. So, yeah, there you go. I actually have some advice for a 10 million account. Yeah. Sort through your mods. Lol. Dominant says, yeah, that's Glermit that likes the young Han. Bad Batch are very useful in GAC. Yeah, they're very useful even not relics, right? They could just be like 5 stars with a couple Zetas on them and they're already nasty to deal with. Lord of Stone said, would like some advice if you want to do more reviews on finishing SLKR, and then we'll work on Grand Inquisitor. Not sure what big project to do after that. Also, small things I can do between projects. All right. Well, thanks again for the super chat, Dominant. You got a great account. Keep doing what you're doing, man. But scout those mods. The End says, hey DL, first time catching the stream. Just want to thank you for the A+ content. Appreciate your in-depth guides and the focus on the why of account building. Hey, no problem. Happy to help. Dominant says remodded for GAC for the GC. Jar Jar Binks says you only missed the empty mod slot sort for about a week. Oh, okay. Yeah. Somebody pointed out that it was there, and I was like, oh my God, that's so good. It's so good. Yeah, it's funny what little quality of life things really make a difference, right? TK's in the house. Hey, TK. All right, so let's look at Lord of Stone. And it's getting close to 1 o'clock my time, so I'm probably going to wrap this stream up pretty quickly here. But you take a look here first at Lord of Stone. Inquisitor Darkstone. Oh man, I love seeing Inquisitor in the name. Makes me so happy. Ships 2.5, characters 3.2. Galactic War Battles won 9.7, so a little over 2 years on the account. Guys, you may not realize it, but having the name Inquisitor in your actual name, for guilds who know, it gets you an invite pretty quickly. So my content helps people build efficient accounts, helps them focus on the right game modes, and like somebody just said, for the right reasons, and put the why behind it. So, if people know that you followed my stuff and that you got Inquisitor in the title in your name, it makes a big deal. Yep. And also a Relic Snowtrooper. I'm famous for my Relic Snowtrooper recommendations. And I was talking to a guild leader a while back that said, I was scouting this account, and the account looked okay. And I was thinking about, I don't know, maybe I should invite this guy to my guild. I'm not sure. It's kind of a low GP account for what we're looking for. And then he saw the Relic Snowtrooper, and he's like, nope, we're going to invite him. He's like, he's got a low GP, but he's following DL's path, so let's invite him to the guild. That's pretty funny. Got invited because of a Relic Snowtrooper. All right, let's take a look here. We've got Malevolence, Executor at 5 stars, Negotiator at 7 stars. See, I like this. I like that you've spent the time to get the Negotiator and the Malevolence finished because they're good. They're worth it. So Executor's in the house. Radis is in the house. No Finalizer yet. I can recommend to everybody, if you've got a farming slot open, do get this Kylo Command Shuttle under farm. He's got it at 6 stars, so he's farming it up for the SLKR thing. But even if you didn't buy the Lightspeed bundle, farm that ship. The Bounty Hunter ships are needed for everything, Profundity, Executor, whatever. So you're probably going to have, the Bounty Hunter ships anyway. So yeah, it's worth looking into. All right, so we've got Jedi Master Luke and Rey. The same position that I'm in, right? Got the Luke, got the Lightspeed bundle, working on Rey, working on the Ultimates. So yeah, it's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff to work on. Or maybe you already had Rey, I don't know, before the Lightspeed bundle. Let's take a look at Resistance and see what we've got here. If we've got a Zori that's, yeah, okay, so Zori's got a couple Zetas and an Omicron. So we've already committed some stuff to her. 3 Zetas on the Jedi Training Rey. Interesting. Okay, so maybe the player built Resistance without the Lightspeed bundle. Not sure. Nooch's streamer privileges hasn't done much for us. My roster's in desperate need of your review. Lord of Stone said, yeah, I bought the Lightspeed bundles. I had JTR before Lightspeed and was using her for a bit because she was a requirement for the Jedi Master Luke stuff. That's fair enough. Okay, so we've also got Gas in the house. Let's see. Jedi Knight Luke, of course. A lot of requirement stuff. Treya's here. Did we do all the Triumvirate? Yeah, we got Nihilus at Relic 3. We've got Savage in here at Relic. Scion's Gear 12, but he's still present. Okay, Darth Talon. Is Starkiller? Starkiller. Yeah, okay, Relic 3 Starkiller. Okay, so nice. So it's not just 2 GLs, it's also Starkiller. It's the Sith Triumvirate. Savage. So we've got a lot of good GAC stuff in here. It's pretty nice. And then this is just requirement stuff. And then we've got, a good bunch of Gear 12 characters in the middle. All right, so the question here was, let's see. Is there any question that came with this? Finishing SLKR, and then we'll work on Grand Inquisitor. Not sure what big project to do after that. Also, any small things I can do between projects. So, I'm recommending this to everybody. I don't have any intel that says this is true, but I think that the new Moff Gideon is going to be really good out of Conquest. So what I'm recommending to people, the Stormtrooper, the Death Trooper. Moff Gideon's a good character anyway, and Iden Versio. So if you build the Imperial Remnants as an Iden Versio team, you get access to the Imperial Remnant in case Beskar Gideon is fantastic, which I think he will be. You get contribution to the new raid, which is useful. And even if things don't work out quite like we hope with the new Beskar Gideon, then it's still an Iden Versio team. So if you're looking for little projects that aren't GL projects to finish, these characters are relevant to the current raid. They're relevant to the current conquest. So build an Iden Versio team with consideration toward specifically the Imperial Remnant troopers, especially Death and Stormtrooper. Stormtrooper's still low-key a really good tank, you know. He can go in a lot of teams. It's increasingly hard to keep up a taunt, but eventually if you build a Lord Vader team, he can go in the Lord Vader team. He can go with any trooper team. So it's still a good character. Still worth building, worth relicking. So that's that. I think one of the highest value, like non-GL things that you can do in the game right now, just because it's participating in all of the stuff that's going on, and getting a good score in the raid. All you have to do is pair up a rebel with a trooper. So you've got plenty of rebels. You don't have plenty of troopers. So what you need to do, you need to match up so that you've got Piet plus a rebel, Veers plus a rebel, Gideon and a rebel, Death Trooper and a rebel, Stormtrooper and a rebel. And those teams will get you plenty of raid contribution. Okay, is there anything else that we can suggest for this account? I think that's really it as far as the account building goes. And then again, you know, for your next big journey, if you don't want to chase Leia, you can wait for the next big announcement and chase the next big ship or GL that they introduce. I feel like it's going to be a light side ship at the Leviathan level, so probably get ready to chase that. Take a look at mods real quick. 334 on Piet, fastest non-GL character. That's okay. Shock T, 333. That's pretty fast for a Shock T. I think Mara Jade wants more of your best speed mods. She's at 323. I feel like you really want Mara Jade to be over 330. So if you put Shock T's mods on Mara Jade or whatever you have to do, but I would really take a look at trying to get Mara Jade over 330. She gains 70 speed in Grand Arena from the Star Killer. Getting her at 400 or above is useful. This mod could be 6-dotted. 13 speed is a little bit on the low side, but you could 6-dot this and poke at it once or twice with a slice. This one, yeah, you got some 13 speeds that are pretty mediocre, but it's worth 6-dotting some of this stuff and poking at it a little bit. If you need to take a break from farming mods, farm up some slicing materials. Try to improve your speed on a few of these characters by 6-dotting the mods. So farm the 6-dot mod materials if you need them, and farm the next node up if you need it, but don't farm the high-level slicing materials. How did I click on Cantina? That's not what I meant to do. So in here, farm this, yes. Farm this, yes. Farm these, no. I farmed them because I thought I could make this efficient on some of my other accounts, but farming those nodes just doesn't give enough bang for the buck. Not efficient. So some opportunities there. Some opportunities. And I think same thing on cat. 10 speed on 3 rolls, you don't want to 6 dot that mod. It's not got enough potential. 12 speed on 3 rolls again. 13 is pretty much my minimum. I don't really want to go past that when I'm 6 dotting things. Okay, enough on that. All right, let's see. DL question, 2 GLs back-to-back or Leviathan? That's your choice. So again, I think if you're going to build Leviathan, then you can skip whatever capital ship comes next. I'd be more tempted to do 2 GLs and then whatever ship comes next as your next big journey. But that means, literally, guys, for anybody who didn't build Leviathan, whatever ship comes next, as soon as it's announced, you have to stop whatever you're doing. Unless you're like a few characters away from finishing out a GL, you need to stop, focus, and get whatever that new content is. So that's my opinion on that, for sure. Danny Samara says, please, 1 GL, 5.7 million. I'm struggling to figure out where to go. Okay, we'll do one last look at this guy's account, and then we'll hang up the stream for the day. All right, here we go. Here we go. Uh-oh. Please remember, for those hanging out here, if you didn't hit the like button on the way in, hit it right now, or hit it on the way out. It does help bring people to the channel so they can learn more about account building and modding and being better players. All right. Old Man, the Scissor Kings. Running with Scissor Kings. That's what they call it, right? When you're with a particular group, you're running with the gang. So he's running with the Scissor Kings. It's like some kind of double entendre there. 2.5 in ships, 3 in characters, 5.7 overall. Total time in the account, it's a little over a year. Wow. Leviathan, done. All right, so I assume that you've been investing quite a bit, because if your account's only a year old and somehow you got Malgus and his ship, I feel like that means you've invested. And again, we don't judge. It's not a matter of right and wrong, but to have that level of power in the account already is pretty impressive. Okay. So the light speed bundles are in, it looks like, for both First Order and for the Resistance. Yep. Okay. So where to go next? What I would say to focus on is, farm up your TIE, your First Order shuttle. So I would be farming this ship twice a day. You're not going to get your SLKR until you get this ship and get the finalizer into the account. You can, if you want to, you can just buy the finalizer, right? Whenever the event is up for the finalizer, there is a pack in the shop where you can buy finalizer shards. And you can just buy your finalizer to 5 stars, be done with it, and get your SLKR if you want to do that. And then later, don't buy past 5 stars, because then later when you go in and you complete the quests, you'll still get those 80 shards on top of what you already got. That'll take you to 6 stars and partway to 7, and then you can finish it out over time to 7 stars. So if you buy it out of the shop to 5 stars, you're not wasting materials based on what you would get off the quest later. So that's an option for you if you want it. But I would definitely be farming that First Order ship twice a day, and I would be working my way toward Ray, which you are. But I definitely would, you're getting the Radis. But you've got character work that you need to do to unlock Ray, right? We need to get BB-8 up and running at Relics. Jedi Training Ray up and running at Relics. And is C-3PO part of that journey or not? I can't remember all the characters for every journey. Probably should be able to, but I don't want to speak out of turn. So let's look at Ray here. Okay. I have it completed on my main account, so I can't see. I can't properly see what's in the journey. All right. Let's go here then and look. Okay. Galactic Legend Journey, Ray. Fin Resistance Trooper. Okay, so we don't have to have the C-3PO in order to unlock the Ray. It's good to have. It helps you with the event when you're trying to get Ray, but it's not a requirement to get Ray. So basically that's the moral of the story, right? You've got those hyperdrive or the light speed bundles. So work on the Ray, work on finishing that stuff out. Get the Radish ship up to where it needs to be, get those characters relicked, and get your Ray. And I would say when you're picking projects, more importantly than whether or not you pick the exact right project, is finishing what you start. You know, so if you build Starkiller, you're not done until you build the team for Starkiller. If you do Grand Inquisitor, you get that team up and running in the right way, which you've done. So you got Grand Inquisitor, you're ready to go. So that's what I would say. When you're working on Ray, finish Ray, build the team around Ray, build out the Resistance teams, and then move on to your next big project. So I think your account looks like it's in pretty good shape, and it's not bad. But take a look at what it requires to unlock those 2 GLs that you got with the light speed stuff, and stay focused on that. Don't end up all over the place. And in the background, like I've said to several other people, in the background, these troopers are high value right now. Work on them, get them up to gear 12 in the background while you're working on other stuff. Same advice I'm giving to everybody. Take a quick look at your speed here. Cat, fastest non-GL character, 357. That's good. That's a fast cat. Mara Jade over 330. 332. Nice. We like that. Okay. Admiral Piet. So you've got some pretty good mods, my friend. Yeah, for an account this age, you've really got some good mods. Nice job. Well done. Well done. So yeah, keep up what you're doing. You're building good stuff. You're doing the right things. Just don't. The thing that happens to a lot of people is they get into a position like you're in, where everything in the game is good. Building Ray is good. Building SLKR is good. Chasing Leia is good. Going after Jabba and JML is still a good choice. So there's so many good things that you can do in the game, but really what you have to do is pick what those are going to be and just stick to the plan. Stick to what you're doing and finish it. That's always going to be better than trying to chase whatever's the next best thing. And then, I would say if the next big thing to come out is a ship, you can skip it. And you've got the Leviathan. Just trust the Leviathan to carry through the meta with whatever ship is going to come next. And it'll be paper, rock, scissors, right? Whatever comes next will beat the Leviathan. The Leviathan will beat it. That's typically what you could expect. But that's okay. And then chase the next big GL. Comes out 6 months from now or whatever. I feel like my mods need work, so what do you think of Jabba? Again, if you want to do Java, go for Java. But then pick it, go for it. Don't look back over your shoulder. No regrets. Just whatever you're going to do, pick it, go for it, finish it. That is the key, right? And you can always look back and regret and say, oh, I should have done this instead, or I should have done this. But don't do that, right? There's tons of good stuff in the game. Pick what you want. I would focus on the stuff that you got from Lightspeed. That's just me. Because you've got characters that you need to relic for resistance, right? So in the time that it takes you to finish out that Radis capital ship, you still have work to do to qualify for the Ray events. Yep. Alrighty, guys, I've gone over what I wanted to do for the stream today already, so I'm going to have to hang it up here. So I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you. Hit that like saber on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. Remember to subscribe to the channel to watch more of my videos in the future. Use the notification bell if you want to know when I'm online doing these streams. Get your account roster review looked at. And of course, join us over on Discord. The link is in the description of the Holocron down below. You can click on that, join our Discord. We got a fantastic community for new players, mid-game players, anybody who wants to learn more about the game. Tons of experienced people willing to help out. There's an Ask Loquitur channel. You can ask questions directly of me, and I'll answer them when I get the opportunity. Hope to see you over there. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all in the next Chillicron.